For those of you who have been told that Virginia is easy, it is not true. The ascents might not be as drastic or as hard, but Virginia is a different kind of hard. People always rag on Pennsylvania and call it Rocksylvania, but really, from my recollection, from hikes past, Virginia has more rocks than Pennsylvania. And this is the kind of rocks they have. In Pennsylvania, they have boulders where you boulder hop. There are some smaller rocks, but I mean, even the flat trail here has rocks that you have to navigate. So this is the trail I'm getting ready to go up. And roots. Hello, this is the morning report. Yesterday's morning report did not record, and I don't really remember what I said except that I'm feeling sort of like the Terminator in Terminator 2, how he lost one of his arms, one of his eyes, part of his scalp, and then toward the end I think he only had the upper half of his body and he was clinging to a chain in order to not be let down into the molten pit. And I feel like I'm just hobbling along. Got this thing going on with my foot, then I fell on my kneecap and rolled down the hill. The knee, I think, is okay. It feels like it's bruised and it still hurts, but I think it's going to be okay. Had a lot of pain this morning, and it took a long time before I could walk without a limp. This is the craziest thing I've ever had to deal with. It was very cold last night, or this morning rather. It was in the 30s. I'm using my 20-degree quilt, and there is a difference in the models of my two quilts. They're both from Enlightened Equipment. It's a good company. I've loved my quilts. The 20-degree cinches up in the back. It's kind of like a hospital gown and has a zipper in the toe box, or foot box rather. And the 0-degree quilt I got zips from top to bottom, or from bottom to top. And I really needed that. During the cold weather, I was totally happy with that 0-degree quilt. I gotta tell you that the zipper never zipped smoothly. I often had to really work at it to get it to zip, but it kept me warm. And I was decently warm last night until you start moving around, then that disturbs the air pocket and lets all the warm air out. But it is warming up quickly. It did take a while for my fingers to warm up. I'm planning a shorter day today. I went longer yesterday than I had planned. I knew I was going to have to stealth camp, but as I was trying to tell Bud, sometimes the woods feel friendly in certain spots, and sometimes they feel unfriendly. That's the only way I know to say it, but I finally found a friendly spot, and as it turns out, I could hear another couple setting up, so I didn't have to camp alone, and that was good. I slept well until about 3:30, but I'd gone to bed before the sun even set. I was tired, so I think I got 8 or 9 hours. Today, I'll be going through the Grayson Highlands. For those of you who do not know, it's sort of known for the wild ponies that live here. They're very tame. You're not supposed to feed them. Last time I came through here, they came right up to my hip belt pocket and started sniffing it really close because they could smell the snacks in my hip belt pocket. So I'm looking forward to seeing the wild ponies today. Got to address something. I know I probably shouldn't even address it. And just so you know, if you have a YouTube channel, you can hide a person and hide their comments. So if somebody's making comments that are bothering you or that you just don't want everybody else to see, you can hide that person. And for the most part, I don't think they know. But somebody left a comment. Okay, let me also say that when I'm out here for 5 days, sometimes I have cell service, sometimes I don't. It is difficult for me to comment or reply to your comments when I'm out here. Last time I was out here for 5 days, hold on, I'm going to give you a view. The terrain is so different all along the AT. Grayson Highlands will be really different, but it's also beautiful. So the troll comments don't really bother me for the most part. I just delete them. But someone left a comment that I saw this morning when I was texting Bud. I got a little note at the top of my phone that I got a comment on my YouTube channel. It said, OMG, monotone. Just to remind everybody, I told you from the very beginning, for those of you who did not see the beginning videos, that this is so far out of my comfort zone that it's practically on a different planet. I'm not a speaker. I started this YouTube channel for friends and loved ones. I'm grateful for all of you who have joined along. It is your comments, your positive comments have meant so much to me. And as I've said many times, I'm still blown away that any of you would even want to watch my videos because yes, I am monotone. Yes, I don't speak well. That doesn't hurt me, I know it. And just between us chickens, they didn't test for disabilities and stuff when I was in school, but just between us, I think I might be on the spectrum. I came across a checklist recently, and I was able to check off 85% of all of those questions. And they were weird things. They weren't things that everybody has. A lot of it could probably be explained by being an introvert, but a lot of it can't. The list was for Asperger's, which is no longer called Asperger's because apparently Asperger was a Nazi. Since then, I've taken multiple tests online which all say there is a good chance that I am on the spectrum. I don't want any special attention. I don't even really want to be diagnosed, but it would really explain a lot. Would explain my speech and my monotone. It would explain why I don't like talking on the phone, because I do better with written instructions rather than verbal instructions, and I feel like a deer in a headlight. I'm very sensitive to overstimulation, sensory overload, like lots of bright lights or crowded places. Females, I've learned, are notorious for being able to do what they call masking, and it means that they can hide what they have learned is not acceptable or normal behavior. The boys don't tend to do that. So there are lots of things that I am not even thinking of right now that point toward that. But that is why I think I don't speak very well. When I try to go from here to here, it's like fireworks are going on between that connection. And there are so many thoughts going through my mind that I'm trying to cull through them and figure out what I want to convey. When I try to go from here to my fingertips with typing or writing, there is none of that interference. And I need to be able to see the cues. That's why I hate the phone, because I am like flying blind. I can't see the person, I can't see their facial expressions, etc., etc., etc. So, that's just between us chickens. As I've gotten older, I have learned to be at peace with who I am, even if that's not who everybody else thinks I should be. And I have had to distance myself from those who won't accept me for being me and keep trying to insist that I am the way they think I am or I should be. Hold on, I want to show you something. That right there is wild horse poop. Now you have seen it. To say something else about being on the spectrum. Could be that I just have some other undiagnosed learning disorder, but I've always felt different from everybody else. I process information differently. I always tell people I process information slowly. If I'm in a stressful situation, it makes things even more difficult. It's like my brain shuts off and I forget everything. When I was at Lady Di's, she probably had to tell me 3 times to press the button on the thermal carafe to pour the coffee. I would have eventually figured it out, but these are things that I'm noticing now that I never noticed before. And part of it was that she was standing right there watching me. And so that was a stressful situation. Also, her gates on the outside of her fence on the outside of her house didn't open normally. And every time I went through that gate, I had to figure out how to open it. If I did it every day, all day, I would eventually remember it and it would be second hand. And that's the way it's always been. With anything I've learned, I have to repeat it over and over and over before it becomes automatic. So, this is probably stuff that none of you are interested in. I think most of us just want to be understood. And what it all boils down to is you do you. Everyone is different. There's nothing, what if people like me are the norm and you all are the ones that are messed up? Everyone is different. Nobody likes to be controlled. Nobody likes to be told what to do. So just draw the circle around yourself and take care of the person inside. If you do that, you won't have time to be telling everybody else that their voice is monotone or whatever else you perceive is wrong. with that person. So I guess that's it for this rant. I appreciate all of you who have made kind comments and who have been so patient with my monotone. And wow, this is so beautiful and such a gorgeous day. It has warmed up. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day. Another little bit of wisdom from Rebound. When you're pointing fingers at other people, you've got 3 fingers pointing back at you. That means when something irritates you in someone else, there's probably something else in yourself that is irritating other people. And you might even be doing something very similar to the thing you hate in other people. So that's just another pearl of wisdom to think about. I'm hoping I'll get a closer view than this. There are 3 wild ponies. I also have to say that I graduated college with a 3.7 GPA, so I'm not dumb. I think this is called the Fat Man Squeeze. Oops. These ponies are prolific poopers. Here's my shoe for comparison. This is just right outside my tent at the shelter.